Thank you for making a double wedding ring blanket. Today I'm going to show you how to join each of the motifs using a join as you go method. First we'll start with, this is motif number 1. So I've completed the entire motif all the way through round 8 and fastened it off and woven my ends, and I'm ready to join motif number 2. So this next motif we're just going to join on one side. Here's my second motif here. And you'll notice that I have crocheted through round 8 all the way around 2.5 sides, and I've ended up here right before the cluster. So I've put 4 DC into this chain 3 space and 3 DC into this chain 3 space, and next I'm going to be working into that cluster. I'm going to crochet 2 TRs. So here's the first, the first TR and a second TR. This will be the middle treble crochet, and I'm going to attach it with a slip stitch to the middle or center treble crochet on the adjacent motif. So on motif number 1, we're going to find the middle TR in that corner, which is right here. I'm going to insert my hook from front to back and yarn over and pull that through the stitch, and then pull it through the loop that's on the hook to complete the slip stitch. And then to finish off this corner, I'm going to create another treble crochet, and then insert my hook from front to back again and pull it through the stitch and through the loop on my hook to complete the slip stitch. So that was worked into the second or last, I guess third technically, treble crochet on the adjacent motif. So now we've got a slip stitch there, and we can go ahead and continue working in the pattern to DC into this chain 3 space and slip stitch to the corresponding stitch all the way across till we get to this the front posts. So I'm going to go ahead and DC in that chain 3 space, and then find the DC on the other adjacent motif, insert my hook from front to back, and slip stitch. So I'm just going to do this really quick, and you can watch along as I go, just creating the stitch on my working motif, the motif I'm working on, and then slip stitching in the adjacent stitch to join. So I'm putting 4 double crochets into this chain 3 space, and slip stitching into the adjacent motif over there. Okay, so I've got that. Let me do one more. So this is the DC right before the front post double crochet section. So I'm going to put a DC in there. And I'm going to, there's the DC on the adjacent motif. So I'm going to slip stitch in that one. Okay, so let's take a look at what I have. We've got the front posts up next, and I just wanted to make sure you see what that looks like. It kind of gives it, inserting your hook from front to back on the adjacent motif and slip stitching that way kind of gives it a little bit of a zigzag look to it. You can try it the other way if you like, going from back to front, but I just preferred that look. Okay, so now we're going to work the front post stitches, and I'll show you how to attach them or join them to the adjacent front post stitches. So let's just pretend we're working this as normal, because that's really what you're going to do. You're going to work this front post treble crochet the same way you would do normally, but you're going to stop before you get to the last yarn over. So wrap the yarn around your hook 2 times, insert your hook from front to back to front around that front post treble crochet, yarn over, draw through 2 loops, yarn over, draw through 2 loops. You should have 2 loops on your hook. Now to attach it to the adjacent front post TR, yarn over, okay, and then here's the adjacent front post TR. Do you see that? It's right there. I'm going to work into this one right here. So you've yarned over, you're going to insert your hook front to back to front around that adjacent front post TR. Grab the yarn or yarn over and pull it through, and then yarn over again. See how there's 4 loops on my hook? Yarn over again, like I said, and pull through all 4 loops. Okay, so that's what it's going to look like. Let me do that again with the next one. So work this front post TR all the way to the last yarn over. So that's going through 2 times. So you have 2 loops on the hook. Yarn over, find your adjacent front post TR right there. Insert your hook from front to back to front, yarn over and pull through or around the front post TR. So I have 4 loops on my hook, yarn over and pull through all of them. And that's what this is going to look like. So you see how it kind of centers the stitches together, or lines them up, and all you have is the loops on top. So it's almost a seamless join. It's about as close as I could figure out how to do it. Believe me, it took quite a bit of trial and error to get to the look I wanted. Okay, so we're going to do this one more time. So we're going to work the front post TR all the way till there's 2 loops on the hook. Yarn over, insert front to back to front on the adjacent front post TR. Yarn over and pull through. There's 4 loops on the hook. Yarn over and pull through all 4. Okay, with that we've got our 3 front post TRs joined to the front post TRs on the adjacent motif. Okay, so we have just completed the front post TRs in this section, and we're going to move on to the lacy stitches at the center of the motif. The next stitch in the pattern is this double crochet. So I'm going to double crochet in here, and then we'll join it to the adjacent motif with a slip stitch in the DC right there. And for much of this next lacy section, we're actually going to be working into the adjacent motif. So we need to get our yarn in the right position for that. And to do that, I'm going to lift my fabric on the adjacent motif just a little bit and insert my hook into this DC from back to front instead of front to back like we were doing before. If you yarn over and pull through, and then pull through this loop on your hook to complete the slip stitch, you'll notice that that places the working yarn at the back, which will make the next few steps easier. So now you'll see we have these chain stitches. We're going to have to work into each of those chain stitches on the adjacent motif. The idea here is we're kind of trying to mimic what was done here. So we're making this side then look like that. And so we'll first start by just slip stitching in each of these chains. And it's really just to get us to the center. But if you do it tight enough, you can kind of make it invisible. So to do what I've found is that just working into the top two loops of the slip stitch does help make that a little bit more invisible. So yarn over and pull through, and then pull through this loop on the hook. Again, this is the second chain, I'll slip stitch into it. And I pull moderately tight, you know, just trying to make this as snug as possible so that you don't notice my slip stitches too much. As you can see, I mean, it's a little bit thicker, but it's, you know, it's not too bad. And if you really want to get them tight, you can roll it between your fingers, and look at how that kind of cleans it up quite a bit. Okay, so then the next step, we've done our 3 slip stitches into those 3 chains, and now we're going to do a treble crochet into that DC that we worked into before. So yarn over twice, insert your hook into that double crochet, and complete the TR stitch. Oops, didn't mean to get off the camera there, sorry. Okay, so we've got our TR, and now we're going to, once again, keep in mind we're trying to mimic this on that side. So we're going to put a single crochet between the legs of the TR on this side. Okay, so we're kind of back to working on that motif, on that adjacent motif. To get that single crochet in there, probably the easiest way is to once again lift the fabric on the adjacent motif up a little bit. So now you really can see these are the legs of the TR2 together on that side. You can see it. There's the legs. I'm going to be working in that hole. So insert my hook into that hole, yarn over and pull through, and then yarn over and pull through to complete the single crochet stitch. So that's what that'll look like here. As you can see, we're almost there. Look, we're halfway there. We've got kind of what looks like, you know, like this. The 3 legs and a single crochet in the middle. Okay, now we have to do that on this side. So we're going to put a treble crochet in the DC right there. So we're going to skip all of that and go straight to the double crochet at the end of the lacy section. And we're going to put a treble crochet in there. So yarn over 2 times, insert your hook, and complete the stitch. Okay, so now we've got our treble crochet. And if you can see, now we're going to have to work into the chain stitches. We're going back to the adjacent motif to work into those chain stitches there. So we'll find that first, there's 3 chain stitches there. You go to the first chain stitch, insert your hook just as you did before through both loops, yarn over and pull through, and then again with moderate tension, complete the slip stitches, trying to make them as tight as you can without getting too nuts. Okay, so see how that has kind of brought us over to the other side. We're now on the other side of the lacy section, and now from this point on we'll be working on the, let's see, once I can roll that. I have this tendency to want to roll them so that they look nice and round. But from this point on, now we're going to be working on into the original motif. We're done working into working exclusively into the adjacent motif. Now we're going to really be working into all of our stitches into this one and then slip stitching into that one like we did on this side. So our next stitch is that DC, the same one that we made the TR into. We're going to put a DC in here. And it's like once you get through that lacy section, things get a little easier because you've already, you know, you've done all these stitches over here, so they're very familiar. And we're going to go into the DC. We'll slip stitch into the DC on the adjacent motif. Pull it up snug. And now we've got those front post TR stitches to connect. So we'll go ahead and do those like we did before. Give you a little refresher. You're going to work the front post TR on this motif closest to you to the last yarn over. So insert your hook from front to back to front, yarn over and pull through till you have 2 loops on the hook. And then you'll find the corresponding front post TR on the adjacent motif, yarn over once, insert your hook from front to back to front, yarn over and pull through. You have 4 loops on your hook, draw through all 4 loops. Let's do that again. Work the front post TR on this motif till there's 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, insert your hook from front to back to front on the adjacent front post TR, yarn over, draw through, yarn over, draw through all 4 loops on the hook. One more time. So I've worked it till there's 2. And then I'm going to pull through all 4 loops. And here's what it looks like so far. So now we've got everything connected all the way up through the front post TR stitches on the left hand side. So now we're almost there. We're going to put a DC in that next DC. And I bet you can guess, we're going to find the adjacent DC on that side and slip stitch. It's like we're in the home stretch now. We're going to put 4 DC in this chain 3 space. So that's the first one. Find the adjacent DC and slip stitch into it. This one is the second one. I'm just going to go pretty fast since this should be old school to you now. And here's the last of those 4. So we've got 4. Now we're going to put 3 in that next, we're going to skip the cluster and put 3 in that next chain 3 space. Once again, slip stitching to the adjacent DCs as we go. Okay, so now we just have this cluster left, and we'll do 1 TR into the cluster, and then find the adjacent, the corresponding front post TR, or sorry, the corresponding treble crochet on the adjacent motif, and slip stitch into that one. Then we'll make 1 more treble crochet into that cluster. This is the middle or center one. Find the middle or center one on this side and slip stitch into this one. And with that, once you've connected that middle one, then you are done with the JAYGO side. Like you've got it all joined. See? So it goes from middle TR to middle TR. And once you've got that middle, those 2 middle TRs connected over here, you can go ahead and just complete the rest of the round as you would normally. So no connecting anything from this point. You're just going to make that last treble crochet into the corner cluster, work 3 DC into this chain 3 space, 4 DC into this chain 3 space, and then just finish off DC, front post TR, front post TR, front post TR, and then slip stitch in the third chain to end the round and fasten off. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'll come back and show you how to do how to join the next ones. All right, so I just wanted to show you very quickly that I finished this motif with those stitches and played a little bit of yarn chicken. That was pretty crazy. But I fastened it off, and now we have our first 2 motifs joined. For the sake of this example, it's probably best to pretend that I'm making the smallest of the blankets, which just has 4 motifs. So we'll just pretend this is the beginning of a 4 motif blanket. So this would be your first strip. Now, your first strip could contain 3 or 4 or 5 motifs all in a row, and they're all joined on that one side. When you've got your first strip done, and now you're ready to start the second strip or the second row of motifs, you're also going to be joining on one side. I have my next motif already here. So once again, just like before, I've worked the motif on 2.5 sides, ending just before that cluster in the corner. And now, just as before, I can go ahead and work this side while joining into this side. So the first, and then go ahead and finish off the motif here, just as we did before. It's the exact same thing. So the first motif of every row after will just be joined right here on the one side. And then I'll go ahead and do that. And when I come back, I'll show you how to join the next motifs on 2 sides. Hi again. I was in the middle of joining these 2 motifs, and I got to the end of the JAYGO side and realized there's a situation I should probably give you a closer look. So when you're joining the first motif of a row of motifs to the existing strip or existing blanket, the last treble crochet that you'll join, so this is the corner cluster at the end, I've done 1 TR and I've slip stitched to that TR, and now I've done the second, or I've made the second or middle TR into that cluster, and I need to join it to the second or middle TR on the adjacent motif. And you'll notice that it's kind of already been worked into. I mean, because you obviously joined it to this motif, so it's got a slip stitch already in there. That's okay. You still should be able to stick your hook in there and get another slip stitch in there. I just wanted to let you know that even though it's already been worked into, go ahead and try to slip stitch into that one, and then you'll just continue on, make it your last TR into that section, and finish off that side, fasten off, and you can move on to the next motif. Okay, so I'll do that, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I have joined this third motif on this one side, and now I'm going to need to add the fourth motif, which will be joined on 2 sides. I have that motif pretty much all ready to go. I've completed the motif on one side, and I've stopped right after the 3 DC into that chain 3 space. So I have to say that it's not really that any more complicated to join this motif to these 2. The most complicated thing is probably in the corner, because really you're just going to be repeating the steps that I already showed you to join this side to this side, and then I'll show you how to join the corner here, and then you're going to work just as you did before. For joining one side, you're just going to work across here to join this side to this motif. So like I said, it's not too complicated. In fact, I think I'm just going to go ahead and start with this corner cluster. Once again, joining the middle TR to the middle TR over here. And I'm just going to work just as we did before all the way across, but I'm going to stop after putting the 3 DC into that chain 3 space there. I'll join them to these 3 DC with slip stitches like I did before, but I'm going to stop before I get to the cluster, because I'm going to show you step by step how to go ahead and join those center 3 TRs to this situation we have going on in the corner there. It's really the only complicated part in this step. So let's go ahead and get this side joined, once again stopping before you get to the cluster, and then I'll walk you through that section. All right, I'm back. So I had to turn everything just to show you, just so I could show you what to do with this corner. But this is the 4th motif, and as you can see, I've joined along the one side. I stopped after completing the 3 DC in this corner chain 3 space, and as I showed before, I attached to the DCs on this side as I went. And so what we have now is we have this corner cluster that we're going to work into. We're going to work 3 TR stitches into this corner cluster, and we're going to connect into this corner, basically. So I'm just going to take a moment to explain and show you exactly where we're going to be connecting everything. So the first, again, we're going to do 3 TRs into this cluster. The first TR is going to be attached to this motif. And if you can see, this is the first, or the last, I guess. This is the TR that you're going to be working into. So you're going to put or slip stitch into. So you're going to put a TR into here, this cluster, and you're going to slip stitch into this TR right there to join this, to finish joining this motif to this motif. Then you're going to put another TR into this cluster, and we're going to slip stitch right here. This is the middle TR on this motif, so we're going to slip stitch right here and right here. This is the middle TR on this motif at the same time. That kind of closes up the gap. And then we're going to put a final TR in this cluster and slip stitch into the last TR on this motif, and that'll give us a nice and tidy corner. So let me go ahead and do that to show you what it's all about. Okay, so we'll start by putting a TR into this cluster. Okay, and like I said, here's the TR on this motif that we're going to slip stitch into. So insert my hook and draw through the stitch and draw through the loop on my hook. Okay, so that gives us a nice tidy join to this and the JAYGO side for that motif. Now we've got to attach it to both of these. I'm going to TR once again into this cluster. Okay, so to do this, I'm going to insert my hook into the middle TR. You see that space? It's the middle TR on the diagonal motif. Insert my hook in there, and then I'll find the middle TR on this motif and insert my hook into there, yarn over, draw through both stitches, and then draw through the loop on my hook. And that kind of gives you a pretty nice join. You'll see in a second when I complete this next one just how tidy it is. So I'm going to go ahead and insert my hook into that cluster again to create the last TR into that cluster. And then we're going to find the last TR, on this motif, and slip stitch into this one. And that will get us around the corner so that we can continue joining that last side. So what I like about this is it does kind of pull it all together. I mean, you may find a different way. You may find that there's a better way to do it, but that seems to be the way that's worked best for me. Basically, you just want to join that center TR to, I mean, you could really just join it to this one if you found that there wasn't a hole there that you could work into. You could join it into this one and this one, or this one and this one, or just that one. Whatever you want to do, just to make sure that the hole is closed and that it's joined. But I always figured that was a pretty neat join there. I think it does the trick. So once again, you're just you're attaching this. You're making 3 TRs into this cluster. The first TR connects to this TR over here. The middle TR connects with a slip stitch through here and here at the same time. So this TR and this TR. And then this last TR into the cluster is slip stitched to the last TR on this motif. And once you've done that, you're all set up to complete the join as you go on this last side. And really it's very much the same as what you were doing before. You're going to start by doing 3 DCs in here, connecting to slip stitching to the 3 DCs over here as you go, and then work across the side just as you did before. And finally, the JAYGO side will end, of course, with your middle TR over here into the cluster, and then just finish off this side and fasten it off, and you're all done. I'll go ahead and do that and then show you a picture of what it all looks like in the end. So here we have all 4 motifs joined. I went ahead and completed the JAYGO side on this last side and fastened off down here. I just wanted to show you what it looks like when it's all put together. I always find it really satisfying to see the interlocking rings pattern start to appear across the fabric. I think that's kind of cool. Well, I hope you found this tutorial helpful, and I hope you enjoy crocheting your double wedding ring blanket. Thanks again for purchasing my pattern, and if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Thank you.